Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and in this video, we're going to make some caramel sauce. A couple of weeks ago, I started experimenting with all kinds of keto sweeteners. My goal was to figure out, could I make toffee, could I make a caramel candy, and could I make a caramel sauce? The toffee has proven rather elusive. The candy, we're getting really close on, and the sauce, we're making right now. We'll start with 1 cup or 205 grams of allulose. To this, we will add 1/4 cup of water, that's 60 ml, and then I'll whisk until no dry allulose remains. And we're left with a nice slurry here that settles evenly across the bottom of our pan. We'll take our heat up to medium, then we'll whisk periodically over the next 3 to 4 minutes until all the allulose is dissolved and our sauce has started to bubble. Once it's bubbling, we're done whisking for a while. If you do see any crystals start to form on the edge of the saucepan, just give it a little swirl like this. Now once you've made this a time or two, you can probably just do it by sight, but we're going to use a candy thermometer. We're shooting for 330 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 165 degrees Celsius. At 300 degrees, we have a nice amber color to our sauce. In fact, it almost looks a little bit like an amber beer. And it smells like roasted marshmallow. Once you are at 300, you need to keep your eye on this because it can shoot up to 330 very rapidly. Once we hit 330, we'll turn off the heat, remove the thermometer, and add some butter. I'm using salted butter right here, 6 tablespoons or 90 grams. And I recommend putting these in pieces rather delicately because it can foam up, as you're going to see right here as I start to whisk. Next, I will add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1/2 teaspoon of bourbon. The bourbon is optional, but if you choose not to use it, I would recommend using 1 full teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I got a little bonus bourbon here. Once you've thoroughly whisked in the vanilla and bourbon, you'll probably smell that bourbon burn off a little bit. We'll remove it completely from the heat. And then I will spill a little bit of heavy whipping cream before adding about 1/2 cup, whatever's left after the drops. That would be 120 ml. I'll whisk it in until it's thoroughly combined and looking smooth. Then I'm going to let this sit for about 10 to 15 minutes so that it can cool. Once cooled, I'll transfer my sauce to a mason jar. Now you may be concerned at this point that the sauce is a little bit thin. Trust me, it's going to firm up wonderfully in the fridge, which is where this is going for the next hour. For the first taste test, I'm going to have some of this straight up. And as I promised, you can see how this is thickened up. Oh yeah. Wow. I can't believe this isn't sugar. This is so good. Right now, this makes me wish apples were keto. But I do have an idea for a substitute. I'm going to slice up some chayote squash. That has a texture awfully similar to apples, and once baked, really tastes a lot like apples. This feels almost like I'm dunking a Granny Smith apple into caramel. Not as sweet as an apple, but the texture is pretty much spot on. And I think maybe baked, it might bring out a little more sweetness in this. Maybe some sort of a faux apple tart, maybe in the future. Lastly, I'm going to try this out on a little keto ice cream here. I think the only thing that could possibly make this better would be if I sprinkled some Maldon flake salt on top of it. So even though I use salted butter in this recipe, I think an extra pinch of fine sea salt would have taken this up even one more notch. In terms of storage, I would expect the sauce to last easily a month or two in your fridge, provided you don't eat it all by then. As always, I will include a link to the printable recipe along with all the macros down in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please click that like button. If you're not a subscriber already, tap that subscribe button, then hit the bell and turn on all notifications. And lastly, if you'd like to help support the Serious Keto Test Kitchen, click that join button. It's right down by the subscribe button, and see what memberships and perks are all about. Thanks for watching.